Greetings, round next. And since we're talking about the Constitution and some are claiming that there is a constitutional crisis, let's just go through some of our Constitution. We've discussed the Constitution, which has articles. Article 1 about the legislative branch of the government, Article 2 about the executive branch of government, Article 3 about the judicial branch of government, how those we know are equal branches of government with equal amounts of authority, even though separate roles and responsibilities. We know there are additional things within the actual Constitution. The Constitution, as ratified at the Constitutional Convention in 1789, would never have been ratified by enough states, which was the third part of it. Congress had to authorize it in the first place. The third part of it, unless and until these things were added to it. The conventions of a number of the states, the conventions which were meeting to determine whether they would ratify the Constitution that had been ratified, proposed out of the convention in Philadelphia in 1789, those individual states had conventions to consider it. The conventions of a number of the states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. Meaning, there were enough people in enough places, in enough states across the country who said, this is good definition of the national government, and there are good checks and balances within it on the power of the executive or power of the legislative. There are good checks and balances, but there still aren't enough checks and balances on the power of government. They added amendments. What became the First Amendment? Congress shall make no law restricting an establishment of religion. If you've never asked yourself why that's first, ask yourself, why is that the first thing mentioned? Make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, meaning country, free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. It couldn't be diktat, couldn't be simple. No, it had to actually be by law. What does that mean? That means the elected representatives of the people had to pass a law saying this would be okay, or this is the way to do it. Because while the people didn't get to vote on it, they voted on the people who would vote on it. It would not be done unless we decided directly or indirectly through our elected representatives. Amendment 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. There's no unlimited power. You can't just be suspicion. You have to have not only a probable, meaning evidence, support, it also, you have to testify to it. Because if you're not telling the truth, or if you don't have enough, it's going to come back on you. Fifth Amendment, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentation or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life and limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Article 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Were the January 6th defendants, did the government meet the standard of that for them? Asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. The accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. You have to tell me what this is about. You must inform me of the accusation. To be confronted with the witnesses against him. It can't be anonymous. Can't be anonymous. To have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. The state is overwhelming in its power. This says the state will not push me, arrest me, hold me without charge, without explaining the charge, without undue excessive amounts of time, and will make sure that I have right to my defense, that I have a right to hear the accusation, that the accuser must show the face, and that I don't have to defend myself alone. I have a right to counsel who is trained. Well, it doesn't have to be, but the person does not have to be, but it would be is so common, is that I have a right to people who are knowledgeable about the law, who are attorneys, who are defenders. And if I can afford one, we, the people, have public defenders, people trained in the law so that the individual person's rights are protected. There are others. The 10th Amendment. The power is not delegated to the United States national government by this Constitution, shall or nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Government does not have the power just because those in government have decided they know best, they know what's good, they know how to make it work. No. No. So, that's it. We're going to come back. Consider, how did government operate during the COVID controls? Did government prevent people from exercising their religion, practicing of gathering? Did government do that? Can't have more than 25 people in the parking lot. You can be in individual cars, but you can't have more than 25 people because the number's there. You can't go to these places shops and stores. If there were less than 10 people, you could go to Walmart, you can go to Target, but you can't go to these individual small stores. You can't assemble. You can't go to your home, your second home, the property you own. Governor Whitmer in Michigan, you can't go there because of COVID. Is that excessive use of power, abuse of power by government? Just some stray random thoughts, maybe as you're driving along the road, got another 100 miles ahead of you, instead of looking at license tags or different things, you can consider in the COVID times since then, under Joe Biden, have there been any times where government has exceeded its authority or exceeded what normal rational people would say, you don't have the right to do that? Consider how many school systems were shut down and school children deprived of their schooling, their gathering. While that specifically is not mentioned here, the concepts, though, are. Is this really what government should have done? Those who made those decisions, were they exercising power in a way that's abusive and excessive of their authority? Let's talk. Let's consider. Let's be prepared for what's going to happen the next time, particularly if it happens after Donald Trump is no longer president. Because the time will come where they will make further attempts to limit your rights, your liberties, and your freedoms. Son of Liberty 2020, amliberty2020@gmail.com. Put a light on it, put a spotlight on it, make yourself go through the thought process, understand the structure under which we actually live and operate, and let's be equipped so that next time we have enough people watching the polls so there won't be any ballot boxes discovered at 3 in the morning. See you next time.